Winston Smith is a member of the Outer Party. Unlike everyone else, Winston is not brainwashed by the party and lives in constant fear of the thought police. Winston works in the Ministry of Truth, erasing and rewriting history to benefit the party. And no, not the fun kind of party. The party is a strict totalitarian regime which controls their people through the use of thought crime and newspeak, taking away any free thought. Big Brother is the figurehead of the party, worshipped by all the people of Oceania. Oceania is always in a perpetual state of war with the other superpowers, Eurasia and Eastasia. One day, Winston purchases a diary from a shop in the Pearl District and starts writing it, as he lacks foresight. Yet he knows then that he has sealed his fate. Winston is a fatalist, and believes that it is only a matter of time before he is caught. And while I do agree with that, perhaps he would not have been caught so soon if he hadn't done the illegal things he did. Winston, oddly enough, dreams of O'Brien, a man from his work, and of the Brotherhood, a supposed organization that is rumored to be against the party. Their leader, Emmanuel Goldstein. The party uses his appearance to manipulate the masses into a state of agitation and fear. This is called the 2-minute hate. One day, a dark-haired girl whom Winston despises hands him a note that says, "I love you," oddly enough, and arranges for them to meet and have fun. The girl is attracted to Winston because she senses he is not quite orthodox, and Winston is attracted to the girl because she's a girl. That's really it. Winston and the girl, Julia, meet in the woods and start to have an affair. This continues for several weeks. Sex was made out to be an unpleasant act, only done on necessity for the party, and as such was looked upon with disgust. But Winston and Julia realize that this is simply propaganda, and delight in their small but substantial act of rebellion. Winston and Julia rent a room above Mr. Charrington's shop without a telescreen so they can continue their affair in secret. They see a large prole woman singing outside. The proles represent humanity, because even though they are the lowest class in society, they still have emotions, unlike inner party members. If there is hope, it lies in the proles. O'Brien invites Winston and Julia to his house and gives them Goldstein's book. He invites them to the Brotherhood, testing to see how far they're willing to go for their cause, even going as far as ask if they throw acid onto a small child. They agreed to every scenario he proposes, all but the act of being separated from one another. This comes in handy later when he tortures them. Winston and Julia, with Goldstein's book now in hand, return to the room above Mr. Charrington's shop. They repeat the phrase, "We are the dead." It is then revealed that Mr. Charrington is in fact a part of the thought police, and Winston and Julia get captured. Winston is imprisoned in the Ministry of Love and tortured with electric shock so the party can brainwash him to believe such things like 2 + 2 = 5, through the use of doublethink. O'Brien is revealed to have been a spy for the party the entire time. He was watching Winston for 7 years and has somehow been aware of all of his crimes. O'Brien begins to torture Winston to break him. Winston is determined not to give in. The torture continues for several months until Winston's re-education is complete and absolute. Several months pass, and Winston resists the party's brainwashing. O'Brien takes him to room 101 and brings in a cage of rats, Winston's greatest fear. He threatens Winston by strapping the cage to his head and states that the rats will eat his face off. Winston cries like a little baby and gives in. Winston betrays Julia and stops loving her. The ultimate act of betrayal, as earlier he said that the party could never force them to stop loving one another. Winston is released from the Ministry of Love because he is cured. Winston and Julia meet in a park and admit that they betrayed each other and no longer love each other. They go their separate ways and never meet again. Winston is sitting in the Chestnut Tree Cafe, drinking victory gin and watching news. He begins cheering an Oceania victory in the war with the rest of the people in the cafe. Winston looks at a picture of Big Brother and finally gives in to the party, realizing that he does indeed love Big Brother. He later gets shot in the head and instantly dies. The party has won by taking away Winston's free thought and love for Julia.